Hello everyone, welcome back to the video, and today guys I'm going to be talking about something that happened in 50 years ago, 6 months ago, July or June, doesn't matter. I'm going to be talking about the Hamilton by-election result, and you'll be like, why did you take so long to make this video? One, I have a life, and two, I felt like if I wasn't going to do my job, like I said in the last video I made about the election, it is time to talk about the things I want to talk about. If I want to talk about these things that happen at other scales, at other countries, other things happen too fast for me to deal with. But if there's something that happens local, such as this Hamilton by-election that happened in Scotland, I think it's important for me to talk about the subject if it's important enough. And I believe this election is actually quite a foothold into what the future of politics is good to look like. Because we actually had, in Scotland, we had a victory of the Labour Party. And yes, I am aware things are different from 6 months ago, or July, June, to now, where the party is hated, the Conservative Party is not relevant anymore, and it's now basically between the Reform and the Green Party. Yeah, that's all changed. But we need to talk about this Hamilton by-election because things that happen in England don't happen in Scotland, and we all don't work like mind virus that connects to everyone and says everything. And there's a lot of things to talk about. I want to talk about here. So what happened was the Hamilton by-election, Hamilton, Larkhall, and Stonehouse by-election was won by the Labour Party, which is a good story. It's a good bit of news. Now you'd be like, why are you talking about that? Why are you saying it's good the Labour Party won? Well, unlike you, maybe, who lives in England, or like people who live in England, the problem you have, say if you're pro-UK and you want the country to be better, your problem is dealing with the Labour Party and the Conservatives. In Scotland, we have the SNP. We have the SNP, who are basically what you view the Labour Party as, but in Scotland. But there's so much people that just don't understand that basic concept. It's annoying. But we'll get to that in a minute. Because I want to show you some of the news, Leo, and some of the what's been said and what's been going on, because I think this is interesting. Labour won with a massive, not much of a big majority, but of 31.6% of the vote, which is quite big, but it just missed, right? This shows how the relevancy of all the main parties now are in Scotland, because what was happening during this election, or this by-council election, was the media and the parties were like, we're going to full force our ability to come here. We're going to get Prime Minister up here. We're going to get Nigel Farage up here. We're going to promote. And even Nigel Farage gets his little poster with him up there. Forget the guy who's actually in the seat. But it's like, okay, everyone's putting their ambitions onto this one. So no wonder when I got this article here from the Telegraph of the live updates of what was going on, Labour had won, and this is a massive victory. Now, why do I say it's a victory? Because Labour is still conditioned as a unionist party, a pro-UK party. It might be doing things that are anti-British, but trying to say the Scottish Nationalist Party is pro-UK is a bit of a fucking joke to you, ain't it, person who doesn't like what I'm saying already? And this is good. This is good news. Any party that beats the SNP is good news. And there's a lot of people out there, which is sad I have to explain this to you, that any victory against the SNP is a good victory. A unionist victory of Labour, Reform, or Conservative, which I'm just about to comment on, is good. It's a good thing. And you might not like Labour, but Scotland has always been more or less Labour stronghold for a while, except for the borders, which has always been Conservative stronghold. And now Reform's trying to nap into that. And many other things. But the winning of so Davy Russell here, I was trying to figure out which name it was, Davy Russell winning the area, which if you watch my last video, he was quite a good campaign, to be fair, knocking on the doors, on that kind of stuff. And he won, got that 31.6%. The S&P got 29.4%, which is something to say. There are still people out there who are so into the cult of the S&P. Even the S&P, which we know from public data, public information, that they voted against improving the Hamilton area. They still got votes. They nearly won just by percentage marks. And you're like, these people are fucking mad. Yes, they are. Well done. And the third one, Reform. They got 26.1% of the vote. And I suppose that's a well done third place, but not good enough for them. We will talk about them later on, because I will have to go on them hard for the way they've been behaving. But there's also the Conservative Party, which got 6% of the vote, which now proves, if anyone did not know, they are looking at a non-existent party. This was the point in Scotland that they realised this party probably has no relevance anymore if the Reform are going to come into the position of the Unionist vote. And it's a concern. It is a real concern, because we'll talk about it later. I'll let you watch the Sky News report on the subject, and we'll come back to it in a minute, because I think it's good that you watch what's actually going on up here.
The odds were stacked against them. A bruised and battered Labour, until now.
Scottish Labour Party, 8,000.
Sarwar, what's your reaction to that then?
Well, look, an incredible night, and it demonstrates, and let me just say this, it demonstrates a few things here, and it's important to reflect on the result, but also the conversations we had on the doorsteps. And what's clear from Hamilton, Larkhall and Stonehouse is, yes, they want a UK Labour government to go further and faster in improving their lives, but they also want an end to this rotten SNP government.
This is an extraordinary turn of events for Labour, and something privately they did not think would happen. They were firefighting during this campaign at every turn, and they think now there's momentum towards Holyrood 2026.
We all feel we've been let down by the SNP. They've broken our NHS, wasted our money, and after nearly 2 decades, they don't deserve another chance.
Soul searching for second place SNP. They had fought a campaign capitalising on Labour's recent misfortunes.
What's your reaction to that loss?
Well, look, obviously it's very close. We're disappointed not to have won, but I think we've demonstrated in this election that we're a party that's energised, we are united, and we will regroup and we will come back to win.
But a few hundred votes behind the ruling SNP are the newbies, Reform UK, almost wiping out the Tories in a contest mired in smear.
We've got no problem at all. We're doing really well in this election.
Deputy Leader Richard Tice ambushed after the party chairman quit amid discussions around banning the burqa.
Well, let's have a discussion about all these things, all these important issues, as opposed to not discussing anything and smearing and labelling people.
Should there be a ban on the burqa? Should there be a ban on the burqa, Mr. Tice?
Debate, that's the issue, isn't it?
What do you think? Should there be a ban on the burqa?
I think we should have a national debate, and that's a fantastic thing to do.
This may have been Reform's first proper taste of Scotland, but it also signals game on for Keir Starmer, who will pivot Labour's energy as the SNP hopes to cling on to power in less than 1 year's time.
Right, so that's nice and simple for you to see, because I wanted you to see what the news was at the time. And to be fair, that was fair. There's STV's one, there's Sky News' one, there's BBC's one, but that's probably the first one I saw on the entire internet, probably, to be fair. And I do find it odd how S&P are just coping with the fact that they lost. Like they don't realise things that they do. They're just hoping that people are ignorant enough to vote for them. I mean, it's just hoping of ignorance. That's what they were hoping for. And they're like, oh, we'll just regroup and be energized. Were you not energized enough? Was this not enough enthusiasm? Did you not throw your weight to the ball the same as the Reform and the Conservatives and the... Actually, did the Conservatives do anything? I've forgotten. I do not remember. That's how irrelevant that bloody party is. Same as the Labour Party, Arasawa, all them. You can hate all these people all you like, but let's talk about the SNP, because they're the ones we care about. Labour won, fantastic. We'll talk about them in a second. They, even when they were promoting themselves, saying, look how amazing we are, they got John Swinney over there saying, look how good we are. They got a little protest or whatever saying, we are good. And they were saying 200 people are going to this thing, like this whole thing here. This was a meetup bit that they tried to get John Swinney to support the candidate. And people were saying, oh, there's 200 people here. There was hundreds of people supporting the SNP for the area, all coming in from different parts of the country. And you can tell that's not 200. That is not 200. You lie. But let's go back to what is going on here. Why did Labour win? Well, I think they had a really good candidate. That was David Russell. And I'm going to let you listen to him saying why he won. Plus, by the way, he's something to do with Rangers, pro-unionist, wants to help out the area, did not like the idea the SNP didn't give funding to the area, and he was actually really good. Even the day after, he was part of a unionist event, which I was ashamed I didn't get to go to because I would have been recording for the event, but I've got work to do. And even if you don't like Labour, we can coalesce and work together with people that we don't like. We're not like the SNP or a fucking cult that starts stabbing each other in the back. And let's listen to David Russell.
Scottish Labour Party, 8,000.
What do you put it down to?
Hard work and listening. Listening more. I told you weeks ago, if you listen, people will respond.
What message do you think this sends out for next year at the Holyrood election?
It tells them they'll need to change their tactics if they want to win. No, I mean, that's the bottom line, that it's hard work and listening to people, and then it's up to me now to deliver.
And that's what you want. That's what you want the guy to come in and do. And I think the SNP have had their fair game long enough. They've been able to say, oh, we can do this, oh, we can do that. But they don't do anything, and then just say, put independence, because that's going to save the NHS money. You're not going to have that anymore. It's going to be destroyed. It's going to make the A9 become a dual carriageway. A96, that's going to magically get a dual carriageway if you just promote the Indy plan. You're not going to fix the homeless problem if you just promote that. You're just like, no. I think people are smart enough to do that. Also, Scotland's a quite stupid country itself. I do find that sometimes. And, well, don't have to listen to me about these subjects, but I want you to listen to Sir John Curtis, the political professor of Scotland, what he's saying about what this election is to be done. Because what he's saying is very interesting as well, to understand what the aspects of the SNP, Labour, and Reform are in this game going forward, because it's interesting. We do have, everyone's got to be paying attention. The numbers weren't good. Like, those numbers I mentioned before, they're not good numbers. So let's listen to the actual expert, the professor himself.
Who should worry the most about this result?
Both Labour and the SNP have left with plenty to think about. Labour's performance in this by-election is not enough to suggest that Anas Sarwar is on course to claim the keys to Bute House in the way he seemed to be 12 months ago. But equally, the fact that the SNP did a wee bit less well in the polls suggests that the prospect that might open up to them next May is, yes, they might still well be the largest party, they may still win the majority of constituencies in Scotland, but that actually there won't be a pro-independence majority at Holyrood. And indeed, the SNP could end up being quite a deeply minority government.
Share for reform here than what's been recorded in recent national polls.
Maybe Reform might just be able to claim second place in the next Holyrood chamber. That ambition certainly doesn't seem to necessarily to be beyond them.
And he's right. Reform do have a chance of becoming second place in the chamber, But if you look at the broader scape of Scottish politics, it's a bit of a concern. Destroying the Tory vote or the Conservative vote, the Labour vote, just to get these guys in. And I have my own grudges with the party itself, but I also find them losing, especially with the vote share that they got, the 26%. I say that was deserved. That was karma. But I would like to say first, you see this poster right here? This is one of the big problems with the party. Nigel Farage's ego. And everyone will say it again and again and again until people fucking get it. This is ego. Though I don't know who the person was who's standing in the seat, because I only know this is the man in the picture. This is the party of Nigel Farage, and that is it. And if anyone says it's the English party, that's all I know it for as well. And there are other comments that were made in that same videos I got this from, which sound worse than what I'm going to say. But it's proving that Reform aren't really proving they care about the situation that they're in, to be fair. They're just kind of like, oh, Scotland lost. Oh, we don't care. We move on. I'm like, no, if you want to be landslide victory all across the UK and make everyone blue, of course you got Scottish nationalists up here saying, Scottish British patriots saying, fuck you, we don't want to be part of your thing. We want to do our own thing up here. But if you're not even bothering to put the effort in, like, you didn't even put your main guy into this election result here. Like, there was other election results that happened up here, and no one's bothered to talk about them. And they're the ones I mentioned in the last victory video. And I've put the results of what those victory results are below this video here, so you know who won those seats. And I'll tell you, it wasn't Reform, because it was embarrassing. And I say again, you deserve that loss. This is what I said on Instagram. I'm very hard on them on Instagram, but nobody gives a shit about what I say or what they say. And I said, you completely deserve that loss. And it's like, it is karma. There's stories that came out around the same time, not the Burqa one, but stories about how bad the ex-members were treated by the Reform management. And you're like, you can't talk about that. This is where I said, this is karma for bullying the ex-members for not going after the SNP and not calling them out, and no plan. There is no plan for the Reform in Scotland. There is no plan for them to do anything in Scotland. It's just like, it's another area. If the Scottish Nationalists come down and say it's an English party, well, I would say so, because there's no Scottish policies, no one's bothering to post about anything, and let alone all the other things that they do. And this is their post, like, this is their main post. They're saying 26.1% on the by-election, we have all the momentum of Scottish politics. You know what that says to me? I don't care. That's what it says to me. I do not care what you say. It's like, oh, you lost. Moving on. Bye-bye. Fuck off. We're talking about England now. And you're like, we're talking England and Wales. And you're like, oh my God, you don't care. So it says to me, you don't care. And it's annoying. Because I used to be part of that party. And for me being one of the ex-members who were bullied, remember there was 1,000 of us who were blacklisted by the manager that's saying, if we join this Facebook group, that we are not real members and we should be blacklisted from the party altogether. And then those same people who are 1,000 of them, Scottish ones, were blacklisted, are still supporting the Reform like sheep. There's a problem there. But like I say, this is a good victory. Well done to everyone who went the efforts for it. And the history continues. See you later.